Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another Sunday Night Live Toys Chat with my host, DavidWorldToys. Well, tonight I have one of our special guests that's actually influenced for me from the start of my channel. I'm also doing a 4-night crossover. I'm starting tonight. I've got also a special guest on Monday, Tuesday, and then my 3-year anniversary on Wednesday. But, I've got the comments rolling in. I've got a load of stuff happening. We all know him. He's from like the ZSR, USR chat on a Friday. I have had him on the channel before, but let's just introduce him. You all should know him, hopefully. Shabby. Evening, Shabs.
Hey, pal. How are you?
Good. Yeah, not too bad. How are you yourself?
I'm all right. I'm just hot. It's roasting over here. It's really warm, so I've got my air conditioner. So if you can hear a bit of buzzing, it's because my air conditioning's on. Well, I don't want to turn it off because I'll be sweating like mad. So
yeah. So just before we carry on, I'll catch up with the tracks. Already had a load of people come in. We've had Baz, Universal Story Collector Stu, DTM,
good old DTM.
Something. Question for Shabby.
Yeah. I get paid royalties, Chris. I get paid royalties.
We know. We got also full of figures in the chat. Dark Lycan, and then you've got Keith Knight. So, well, just for all the new people, Shabs, to my channel. I know you did a couple of interviews a couple of weeks ago, but just for all the new people, what do you actually collect, sir?
Oh, loads of stuff. Right, for years it was primarily Star Wars. I was banging to Star Wars, and then when the Black Series came along, that was it for me. I was hooked. I mean, every time they came out, I bought them, and then I've got hundreds of Black Series. But then, as the Black Series was starting to get a bit, it wasn't as easy to get hold of. I was getting a little bit more pricey. And then, as you were meeting more people on YouTube and watching their videos, and so I started to spread out. And a couple of years ago, as you know, Moto Origins came out in 2020. So me and my daughter, we got banged into Moto Origins, and we're about 98% complete, up to date with what it is. Playmobil, I got into a couple of years ago. I like Transformers, but only the Studio 86 one. But we have a shop here called Ollie's, and if Ollie's will have a War for Cybertron or a Siege Transformer for cheaper, we'll buy one of them. But primarily, Black Series, Moto Origins. I don't collect Hot Wheels, but I like pop culture Hot Wheels, like a Back to the Future car or a Batmobile, that kind of thing. So I will pick them up. But other than that, primarily Black Series, Transformers, Playmobil, Moto Origins. Oh, and Masterverse. I've got a tub load of them I haven't even opened.
Just to let you know, Gerard's also joined us, and you've also got this guy asking a King Louis Jungle Book question. What is he like? What's he like? Technically, but honestly, Shab, most of us in the chat and most of us around the world know you from like the Friday ZSR or the USR. Yeah. Was it the Pally Boys before that?
Boys before that, yeah.
And some of you guys are giving us, like all YouTubers, a chance of just getting us out there. Because I know you has asked me on with, is it Waking Ned or something Ned back in the day?
Oh,
the puppet guy.
Yeah, how awesome was he? Yeah, but that's what it was. The thing about me, Matt, and Tez is at the start, I never wanted to be on YouTube. I never wanted to do a YouTube. I was the same as everybody else. I worked from home, and then I'd have Pixel Dan on, Boss Bounty on, Retro, all the toy guys, and I'd just leave it running. I'd never comment on the videos. I just, because I've collected toys practically all my life, so this was just something that was in the background, see what the news, usual Mike with the news, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I came across the Darth Mark and Matt. They were doing the Pally Boys, and I went on there, and that was the first thing I actually started to chat on, because these are British lads like me, and I started to talk away. then they asked me to come on, and I came on, and the rest is history, basically. So I wouldn't say it was the being on the Pallet Boys that made me do it. It was all the lads in the chat saying, "Oh, Shabby, start a YouTube channel, and I've loved it, to be honest. It's been really good fun doing it, and I get my kids involved, and sometimes if my missus wants to do it, or Jen, she'll be in a couple of them. But yeah, it's good fun. So, and it's nice that. But I think what it is about what you just said is that I've always taken the community first, if you will. I mean, and subs and all that's nice thing, but I'm a big personality. I like to meet people around the world. So coming into this, and we're all roughly around the same age, and we're all roughly like-minded people. How can you not welcome people in? You know, and it's I'm all for it. I'm all for everybody and doing something and getting involved. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like how people like respect everyone. It's in their chat or in the big group. It's all about, isn't it? It's just like helping each other's out. Yeah. We all helped Universal Stew Collector a couple of weeks ago.
Well, a Chronicle last year, a charity event. You know, if anyone new's coming in and they want me to come on or say hello, or any of they said, or anyone in our chat, you know, I just saw Reynolds with Ryan the Toy Collector in doing a chat in Australia, and that's how it should be. We should all be helping each other out. We should all be building each other up, because we're all friends. You know, the way I've worked it out is I don't know what people's thing is behind the scenes. I don't know whether they're lonely. Yeah. I don't know whether they're, you know, so I would hate not to welcome anybody. I'm welcoming to as many people as I can.
Yep. Just to give you a shout out, that is my guy on tomorrow night at 10 p.m. on my channel for L10 Day. He collects Punisher and all sorts. So that's a plug just for tomorrow night's stream. So if you guys are around tomorrow. So, you know, we've got 15, 16 people. I've always noticed, Shabby, when you do a live stream, you always get like the 15, 20 people guaranteed following you. And especially like your brother as well, which, you know, you're just, honestly, sometimes without you and your brother, who else do you speak to or get information from? There's that many people to give you.
Well, I don't know. I think there is. I think you just got to put yourself out there. I'm one of those people. Someone messages me, I message them back. If someone wants to talk to me, I'll talk to them back. You know, you know, you all know who I am. I can't shut the front up. You know, I talk and talk. You know, I like making silly videos. The thing about it is, I've always been like that since I was a kid. You know, always trying to make people laugh. Or always trying to be nice to people. You know, don't get me wrong. I've got my other side as well. I can get pissed off and I can get mad and bad tempered and whatever. But I try my hardest.
Everyone calls it the Shabby rant.
Yeah, I try my hardest not to do it on this, because I've always looked at this as just a hobby. It's just fun. Yeah. You know, and everyone's, you don't know what sort of day someone's had. So the last thing they need is me coming in going, oh, this is happening, that's happening. No one wants to listen to that. Everyone just wants to have a good time. So that's why I make videos the way I make them. If I'm not in the mood to make one, or I don't fancy doing it, I won't do it, because I don't want to come across as always pissed off. You know what I mean? I'd rather make it when I'm in the mood for it. So.
Perfect. So technically, you started with Black Series. You've got all the red box Black Series figures. They all in a row, aren't they? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if I just turn this round, I think you can right there. Can you see them all?
Yep.
So basically, there's still a couple of exclusives I'm missing. I can't tell you offhand what they are. But the whole line was 112, and I needed about 4 more left. And a couple of the lads in our community helped me out. Papa Gold, Boss Bounty, they sent me some. Super Awesome and Hollow Chronicles, and I finished the whole 112. So that's why I will open them. And I like the way it looked. I know a lot of people slag off the red and black boxes, but I kind of like them. You know,
well, at least they actually stopped at 112, so that's a good thing about it and that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? So
it was weird how they stopped as well, because they didn't give you any. They just the last 4 were more or less Clone War Jedi's. Kit Fisto came out, and what is it, Anakin and Obi, and then they said that's it. We're not doing any more. So I thought, wow, that's, you know, it's a funny number to finish on 112, but yeah, that's what they finished on. So
well, at least that's the thing, Bob. So technically, you went from Star Wars, then you went to Masters Universe or Muto Origins, and that's just.
I heard about it. I heard about it online at Toy Fair. Mattel were going to be revealing something, and I kind of knew what it was because they took the license back off Super 7. If you remember, Super 7 were doing the classics, and they were doing the same kind of figure and the same kind of styling and selling them there, but they weren't putting them in shops. You had to get them online and through Super 7. So I just put 2 and 2 together, and I thought, hang on a minute, are they bringing back Masters? And I remember watching the Toy Fair, and some of the lads that went to New York Toy Fair that time, it was just before COVID, the last one before COVID. And I couldn't believe it. There they were. And the nicest thing about it is, I loved Masters as a kid. And the nicest thing about this one, unlike like the retro collection and this and that, they've taken an old toy franchise and upgraded it. I mean, it's but look exactly the same. So on my shelf, you've got vintage as well as Motor Origins all mixed in. It's
same height, same size, and same everything. Yeah,
exactly right. I mean, it's like the nicest thing what they've done is they've taken a toy we all loved as a kid, and instead of changing it or instead of upgrading it, they've just not upgrading. They've kind of looked at it and gone, what can we do to make this better? And honestly, they're flawless. They really are. I love them.
I did have the original Ninja, the Black Ninja, back in the day. And I know him, you can take like the cloth cap off. That's the only thing that's not unique changes which they've done. I know there's like a White Ninja, there's like the Skeleton Warriors and all sorts coming out, and some of them are really great. The only problem now in the UK, like Smiths and a few places don't stock them, it's now to Amazon. They're up to £25 or £20 each. It's like 10, 15.
Yeah, I mean, Big Bad Toy Store you can get hold of them at, but you've got to pre-order them. I've got to admit, Target and Walmart have basically stopped, but I think they're just stopping with the waves that have come. They're waiting until they've all gone and then they'll start again. So a couple of them I just got that off Amazon, which is the comic book version of Roboto, which is right there.
Yep.
That one.
That is nice.
So this is Roboto, but the comic book. And this is the latest Mattel Creations one that you can only buy from Mattel. And this one was the Frogmonger right there.
I like the head on him. He's absolutely amazing. The head, he's just
the card arc on the back, because obviously it's an exclusive. It's different. But these are all the other aliens and creatures that were in Castle Grayskull. You know, the dungeon at the bottom. So how cool is that? So you never know, they might introduce these more characters that were in there.
Technically, that's what Mattel's known for, like Easter eggs, like putting the figure out and see if it sells well. And, you know.
Yeah. And the nicest thing is, though, I remember seeing, I caught on to this, and I remember having an Instagram chat with a lad saying Eternia's coming. They were like, no, Shabby, there's no way it's coming there. It's too big. And I said, I'm telling you, because on the back, like what you just said, Dave, with the Easter eggs, Eternia came up a few times, and obviously there it came. And so Eternia's into in another year, so that'd be awesome.
Yep. Yeah, it's like Stu says, they're just, in Smiths, they're quite easy the first 3 or 4 seasons, but now they're just getting a bit even harder to get hold of. It's crazy.
It'll be coming back. I think what it did was, because it's a new line, they threw everything out the first few waves, everything. So you can always find your Jitsus and your He-Mans and your Battle Cats and that kind of thing. I think they're waiting until they've more or less gone, and then they're going to start again. So somebody's
Simon, other guy in the chat there, Mr. Si. Hello, evening. 5 more sleeps to sell.
Yeah.
I hope it all goes well, pal, with a load of other people going. I hope you guys have a really amazing time. I'm still working if I'm going, but we'll see what happens. So there you go. But yes, it's basically Shab. It's the Mewtwo's gone absolute crazy, and then like the Revelations with the Netflix series, and then the cartoon series as well. It's really pumped Masters Universe back into the lines.
And so it should. The nicest thing, I don't regard myself as a vintage collector. I don't regard myself as a modern collector. I've always regarded myself as a toy collector. And so I always think in our line of hobbies, this ain't sports cars. This ain't, shooting range. It's an accessible and easy enough hobby that everyone can collect. So when you see figures going 150, 200 quid, I'm kind of put off by that, because there are people out there, including myself. I mean, I've got 4 kids. I'm not going to go out spending 250 quid on a figure. It's just not going to happen. But things like this that you can get hold of for under $20, that you can take all the limbs off and make your own figures, that comes with a comic book, that comes with accessories. I think it was a breath of fresh air for me, because, and also it was something that I can share with my kids. My Black Series ain't going to share with my kids. Why? Because then they're now getting up to $35, $40. So I'm not going to let my kids play with something that expensive, because if it breaks, but these, they're made to be played with. You can take them apart. You can, so if the kids come in here and take them off the shelf, I've no issue with that, because they're easy enough to replace. So that's what it is for me.
Also, about that line, which we only got like series 1 in the UK, but you guys got like 8 or 10 series, was the WWE Masters Universe.
Yeah.
which then you can swap, as you say, the arms and bodies over for the wrestling side of it.
Exactly the same as these. Yeah.
It was unbelievable. It's like how we didn't get them, and I'm surprised we didn't get them. So
Weird,
technically,
because those over here, and remember, Left Coast, Left Coast, he got
Yeah.
the Mr. T one, and I was, oh man, and that was like here and gone, and now it's just it's way out of my price range to get it. But he had the Mr. T version, and I'd love to add that to my collection. Having Mr. T there, so that would have been awesome.
Yeah, even a few people in the UK, we had Series 1. It's like a few of our American friends messaged me and said, if you ever get the Mr. T wave, please let us know.
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah. Even now, it's like people are still saying, you getting more? It's no, they've only had the Series 1 in.
It was quick how in and out that was. I watched Left Coast video on it, and I was like, what's that? And then I looked it up, it was like $80-90, and I thought, wow, already. So, it was a quick, I don't know whether it was a licensing thing. They were only allowed to do it for a couple of months, whatever, but it was gone straight after that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So technically then, Shabs, over in America, was it easy then to get your Star Wars Black Series or Masters Universe then?
Masters Universe now. Black Series at the time wasn't like that. It always makes me think, because one of the I don't like the sequels at all. I'm not a fan of them. But one of the nicest things about the Force Awakens was the aura that went around it. I love the atmosphere. Star Wars is back. Everyone's talking about it on live streams and behind the scenes. You're watching new trailers. But the other thing, being toy collectors, is the September before, you had in America what's known as the Star Wars Fan Day, or Star Wars Force Friday, it was called. And Target and Toys R Us at the time were doing these big events, right? They were opening at 7 o'clock in the morning. They had stormtroopers there. They had big signs there. And it was chock-a-block, full of 5 POA at the time when they made those, full of Black Series, full of everything. And you're walking into a store with a load of other people, but you're coming out with stuff. You're actually looking and you're picking up 1 or 2 things and going, should I get that one? Should I get? And I spent an absolute fortune on it. So I loved that. Then when The Last Jedi came, they tried to, Rogue One came, they did Force Friday again. And that was a big success. I got most of the Rogue One stuff and that kind of thing. And it was nice because you're looking at these figures before the movie came out, like we did as kids. So you're like, who are these Ewoks? Remember the blacked out Ewoks? Who are these figures that are blacked out? And what's all? And it reminded me of that. And that was nostalgia for me, going back, 7 or 8 years ago. And then all of a sudden, after The Last Jedi, it just finished. And then Black Series just dwindled. And a lot of people say, well, maybe it was the pandemic, Shabs. It wasn't. Black Series hasn't been in our stores for ages. And I first noticed that because I remember being on the Pally Boys once. And as you walk through the aisles of Walmart and Target, they have the signs, Transformers, Batman, McFarlane. And the Black Series, the Star Wars one, had gone completely. And I thought, that's a bit weird, that. Do you know what I mean? But you're lucky if you go into a store in America, especially the mainline stores, like I say, like Target or Walmart, that you find at least more than 3. It's very difficult to find more than 3 Black Series. But the funniest thing is you go into a place called Ollie's, and Ollie's is a bit like a discount store. Yeah. So
it's almost like our home bargains or B&M over here. Yeah.
Exactly. But you'll walk into there and you'll see things like these that are $25 figures for $9.99 that you never saw at $25 in Target or Walmart. Yeah. So you walk in and there they are, and it's a strange. The distribution for him has always been strange, but I always liked collecting them, and I could hear myself on live streams getting mad and ranting and I'm sick of Black. But I've always liked him. So what I did was I made a thing, and I remember going. Scuba Pete and G-Force came to see us here, and we all went out to a Target, and I got the mud-horned Mandalorian. Do you remember the Black Series one? It was all covered in mud, and it was $40. And I tell you what, David, I've never felt so robbed in my life. And that was the first time in the whole history of me collecting. I've bought something and I thought, I should never have done that. The only reason I bought it is because in the back of your mind, you have to say to yourself, well, it's not pre-ordered, so you'll never get it. You'll never see it again and all that stuff. And it didn't feel right to me. I think toys should be accessible. They are toys. That's what we're collecting. So,
it's the same, isn't it? Masters Universe. You can almost buy 3 in Masters Universe for 1 Black Series toy.
It's getting retarded. It really is. And the funniest thing is, you're looking at figures now that have been out 6-7 months, and they're up to $80-90 for a figure that's been out 6 months. And it's like they're getting as bad as it's funny when you're buying figures at these prices, but then you're watching a vintage Toy Wish thing when he's getting roughly these vintage immaculate things for the same price.
Yeah. Or 20, 30 years old, exactly the same. Yeah.
And that's something that's always baffled me. But then I think things like McFarlane, R. Simon and Chris, they collect McFarlane. And I've been looking at their stuff, and I'm not really a collector. I've got a couple of them. Jason sent me the Wonder Woman. But the thing is, you're getting a 7-inch, very detailed, very articulated figure with a stand, with a card for $20.
Yeah.
And that was the funniest thing. So what my point was, going back to The Force Awakens when they were all there, the only time that's ever happened since then, we went to see the new Batman film, and then we came out, went to Walmart, and McFarlane had stuck this huge pallet in Walmart's full of all the new figures, full of Batman, the Penguin, this, that. And it was shocking to me. And it shouldn't be shocking, but it was shocking to me to see something that's like up to date. Now we're getting Black Series for the Book of Boba Fett, which was last year, and we're getting them now. You know, and it's like, you know, it's a bit.
I can actually remember those days in the UK. We opened like midnight over here for the Star Wars. The only thing, honestly, when Disney shops were still around, Shab, over here, they used to do May the 4th day. And they used to have a few new toys for May the 4th, but only at Disney shops. And that's it.
I think what it is the pre-order thing. I think what this is just my opinion. I may be wrong, I may be right, but the way I work it out is I think these toy companies, especially Hasbro too, I said, you know, let's just cut out this middleman. Let's just do it all ourselves. Put it all as pre-order. That's how many we make. We can charge people so they don't have to go down in price. They don't have to get clearance. And it kind of worked up but when you're doing HasLabs for a lightsaber no one wants, or a Rancor that was too expensive, or a Ghost Rider vehicle that was 350 quid when McFarlane had just made that Batman one for 60 quid. I think it's starting to dwindle down a bit now. And I think as toy collectors, most of us are at an age where we can think for ourselves. We're not just going to go out and spend that type of money on something that we know is either going to go on clearance, or we can get it off somebody else, or somebody else might have to. And so it's starting to dwindle down a bit. And you know that because the last Star Wars film you watched, most of them didn't even say pre-order on it. They just said it'll be in retail shops. So
coming soon, and that's it. So it's unbelievable. You know, well, technically then you actually collect an absolute other line as well, which is Playmobil.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, some of the licenses they've got, like the Scooby-Doo, the Back to the Future lines, unbelievable toys. And then they've done James Bond. Yeah.
I always knew about Playmobil as a kid. My cousins had it. I remember my cousins, they lived in a different town to us, and we'd go and see them. And then, I'll never forget it. They had a Playmobil hospital set, right? And what enticed me about that was all the little bits and pieces that came with it. It wasn't just a bed and a doctor and a nurse. You had everything in there, and I was fascinated by that. But it was something I never got into. Maybe it's because I thought it was a girls' line as a kid. Maybe I thought it was for babe. I don't know. I just never got into it. Well, Walmart and Target don't sell Playmobil here. You might be able to get them online, but they don't sell them. The only place that I know that sells them, and Steve-O from Collecting Star Wars told me, was Barnes & Nobles. But Barnes & Nobles is a posher kind of shop, so it's
books
like
books and everything else. Yeah.
So when you're selling something for like $20, Barnes & Noble will be selling it for $35. So I never really got into it because of that. Well, for some reason, my Walmart had the Back to the Future Playmobil DeLorean in there, and it was on sale for $26. That's it. And I walked past it. How many weeks? Never bought it. And then for some reason, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to pick this up and see what it looks like. So I pick up this DeLorean. I took it home, made a video, and I was astounded by the quality and the detail and all the stuff you get. It was actually $49.99. I would have paid the $49.99. So what I said to myself was, I'm really going to get into these. I love them. So I bought every Back to the Future piece that's been made so far. I've got the whole set of the Back to the Future. And then I realized they're doing the pop culture cards. They did Scooby-Doo. I had to get that. And I've just got the mansion, for example. If I can just pull it out here. He's right here. So you get all that for under $100. Do you know what I mean? It's just outstanding. You know? Everything like that. So I've got most of that. Our size sent me the 18 van. I've got the DB5 that Jason sent, and the Knight Rider one I still got to get hold of. And Magnum's coming in August. So these 80s themed Playmobils that they're making, they're absolutely amazing. They're fantastic. And then I have a friend called Damon who sent me a load of vintage Playmobil. It's right here, all the vintage stuff from the 70s. It's from 76 to 78. And I just thought, this is unbelievable. So, yeah, Playmobil I'm not going to go all down on. For things like this, Dave. And
the boxes are absolutely amazing back then, aren't they?
Yeah, they're super cool, you know. And our Lucy couldn't believe it either, because I think our Lucy's only seen the big boxes in new Playmobil. She's never seen this old stuff. But I just couldn't believe it. So, yeah, but the one I really, really want, David, is the Asterix, but they don't sell it over here. Yeah. Asterix isn't in America at all. So if you buy it over here, you've got to get it through international shipping, and the shipping is worth more than the actual thing. So luckily, our size turned around and said, when he goes to Smith's, he'll start picking them up and he'll send them over for me, which is awesome. So.
And then technically, if anyone goes over from the UK is coming to visit you, they can put it in your suitcase and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
so
I know all the shipping, everything's going up. It's crazy.
So I mean, so we're Playmobil. I'm not going all out, but this pop culture line, and it's made. It's obvious. No kid knows what an 18 van is, or a Magnum PI car is, or do you know what I mean? Night Riders. So it's aimed at us, and it's honestly, it's been brilliant to collect. It's so much fun. It looks great on your shelf. It's, you know, they put lights in it, and that's another thing that makes me laugh. You can make like the Ghostbusters cars that all light up and all that for under $50. Yeah, Hasbro try and sell you the Ghost Rider car for $350. It don't make sense.
No.
Yeah, granted it's a different line, different scale, but it's still only plastic, isn't it? So.
I know technically the other day, one of our friends I was talking to, he liked Star Trek. Playmobil just got the license for that.
Yeah.
And they've done a couple of ships, and the ships must be like 2 foot long.
Massive.
But they fit the Playmobil's inside, but I know they're like, I think it's like $250, $300 for their figures.
The actual Star Trek Enterprise was $500. It's gone down to $322 now. So if it goes down and down a bit more, I'll try and get hold of that. And then they did the Klingon ship. I don't know what the Klingon ship's called.
$350, I think it is.
Right,
the Klingon, the green one, yeah.
Yeah, and that one is actually done. They haven't fit it inside it because of the scale. They've put them at the bottom of it, but they're fantastic. Yeah. They really are. And there's Keith, if you want to see Keith's custom Playmobiles, Italian jobs that he's done, chips he's done. I mean, he made the Night Rider truck, and it's ridiculous. So yeah, Playmobil's a big issue for us. It's a really great line to collect.
Yeah, it's versatile, where they're like the same as Star Wars figures. You can put your Star Wars figures in, or you can put your 3.5-inch figures in the cockpit. You don't have to have the chunky figures. So that's another line that's vehicles and figures.
It's cool. I mean, this is the same as the motor. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm not really sure about the motor, shabby." Yeah, they're nice or whatever, but they don't have the gimmicks that they did as a kid. Some of them do, some of them don't. But if I was taking them down playing with them, then but I'm not. I'm opening them up. I'm like, you know, and then I'm putting them back on the shelf. So really, the gimmicks that the Motor Origins don't come with haven't really affected me. Some of them do, though. The mecha neck, the neck looks a bit too thick. They should have done the mecha the way. So some of them, they should have the gimmicks, but some of them shouldn't. But yeah, things that we all did that as kids. You remember when you got your Star Wars vehicles, the A-Team 3/3 was in there, your G.I. Joe, your Action Force, your Man in Size case was in there. It was never just one toy line, was it? You played with about 3 or 4 in the same stuff.
Yeah. So a quick question then, Shabs. If Masters Universe went to Playmobil, would you collect it?
Yeah, 100%.
Or would you go all into that line?
Yeah, I'd go all in. I mean, I did with the Back to the Future. And when I got the DeLorean, I thought, I love this. Then I knew the 4x4 was coming. Then I knew the calendars were coming that had all the sets at the back. And, you know, and then I just thought, this is unbelievable. I mean, they give you things like the letter Marty wrote to the Doc that's all ripped up. They give you the clock tower. Little things. I know it doesn't mean anything. It's not really good. But to put them into a line. So, yeah, if they did He-Man, I'm well on for that. Really am. So.
Yeah. So technically then, Shabs, you and your missus, I don't know how you started. I don't know if you want to explain how you started, but you guys take, is it old furniture and then put toys or stickers or something over them? Or I don't know how you do it, but if you want to explain, that's absolutely amazing.
It didn't start off with the shabby. Well, our actual business is called Shabby Jacks, and what we used to do is it was when we had our babies when we were younger. I was in the suit trade, as you know, so I'm always at work. And so Jen's always been a really good hand painter. Jen's a really good artist. You know, she paints. She's amazing what she can do. And my wife started to getting these big old-fashioned dresses when we lived in England and putting Union Jacks on them, but, you know, antiquing them. And she made them unbelievable. So we called our business Shabby Jacks, and we sold a ton of those. And people were coming all over from Great Britain to come down and collect, you know, to pick up our stuff. And she was doing it just as a bit of an extra income while I'm at work, and she's got the babies at home, and she was a massive success. And the thing is, I was coming home, and she's probably made more money in a weekend than I made it a couple months at work. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to take any credit away from my missus. My missus it was my missus that started it all, and I can't paint like my missus can, or like I can. I mean, I can draw here or there, but I'm not in their league. I'm not in Si's league. I'm not in Jen's league. So I sat to myself and thought, well, I'd like to start getting into this myself, and what can I? So I started to do the pop culture. So I started off by getting big posters first of all and putting them on dresses and framing. And as time went by, I started to develop my own thing where it's called decoupage, where you'll get prints and you'll do everything else. And I started to do comics and I started to do this and that, and it took off. It was a big success. I mean, for being self-employed, we've been doing it now for about 16, 17 years, and it does really well for us. So yeah, I mean, we enjoyed it. We've got to be careful though through licenses, but what we do is make one-off-ones. So in other words, if you bought a coffee table off us and somebody said, "Oh, Shabby, I'd love to have that coffee table," it'd have to be different, because if we mass produce and we get in trouble. Do you see what I mean? So what we do is we make one-of-one. So every piece you get from Shabby's, that's your piece. No one else has got it, and then we do it that way. And so we've just done a few pieces now. I put them up in the group yesterday, or if you're on my Patreon, every time I make something, I put it on my Patreon so my patrons can see my work. So, well, yeah, I enjoy doing it. It's good fun.
Just in case you guys were wondering, I'll put all this information in the link description after for Shabby. Shabby will just send me across. Don't forget to also like, comment, and subscribe to Shabby Geek. You know, he's at 850 subs or thereabouts.
No,
you know,
I can't get off it. I can't. It's weird. You know, I'm not a jealous person at all, and like I said, I'm not hypocritical enough to say, "Oh, I love all the community," and then get upset when everyone does better. No, I'm all for it. I know my friend, you're getting to 1,000, like I said. I know Tez has just got to 1,000, and I couldn't be more happier. I'm so happy and so pleased for all the lads. I like it because we've all come into this together, and I like to watch everybody grow. But for some reason, I'm not. I'm at 8:45, and I've stuck there for months. I can't get off it.
Yeah.
So, listen, it is what it is.
But no, back to your business. Some of your stuff has been amazing. I went to Scuba Pete's house on my trip, and I've seen the coffee table you did for him. Unbelievable. Like, you know.
Yeah, that coffee table Scuba's was cool because it's custom made. You can't buy that coffee table. So we used to do it a lot. We used to make our own furniture. We used to take old doors and make thrones out of them and beds and benches and all that. But coming over here, and I don't know whether it's post-pandemic, they're expensive pieces to do them. So, and at the moment, people haven't got $600, $700, $800 to spend on a piece of furniture where we are. So we've stopped doing it more or less. But we have a gentleman that made Scuba Pete the thing, and then when you open it up, Jen had painted all the sea inside it and put Scuba Pete trying to find an X-wing in the seabed. It's a cool piece. It really is.
Yeah. Is that Claire from Scuba Pete, or is that a different Claire?
That's Si's Claire. That's my sister-in-law. That's good old Clary.
Sweet. But yes, some of your stuff has been absolutely. Something like the what's the one that stood out to me? The Nightmare on Elm Street one you did.
Yeah,
that was just unbelievable. So technically, how long does it normally take you to do one of your, say, one standard piece ish?
It just depends on the size. It just depends what people want. We did I showed Jeff Barker this morning. We did a rockabilly motorcycle piece on an armoire, but that was hand painted as well as decoupage. So that takes about 2 weeks to do. And the horror one, it depends. If someone wants, we had blood and all that sort of stuff on it, and then we antique it. Like we did an old Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein piece, and it was. I'll send you a picture after this. It was awesome what we did. So that takes weeks. It just depends how. If it's just putting pictures on like a jewelry box, a week, 4 or 5 days, that kind of thing. But we lacquer them and we make sure it's all done professionally. So we don't just. It's not. We don't Mod Podge and we don't glue it and stick it on. It's all done properly. So it takes a few days to a week. Mm-hmm. Stu
did say, is there any licensing agreements or anything to do with licensing?
We got in touch with everybody, and what happened is I had to be careful with it because you are worried. You are like, well, hang on a minute, I don't want to get in trouble with this and so forth. But we're not mass producing this stuff. So what happens is if I've made that and it's a success, then I've made that. It's exactly the same. Then I've made that. That's when they're coming for you. Do you know what I mean? And some of the times what we will do is we'll use fan art as well, or we'll use pictures from years ago and I'll enhance them and we'll do them up and that kind of thing. But the reason why we've been doing it for so long and we got away with the licensing is the fact that we don't mass produce these pieces. So you'll never see more than one. Do you see what I mean? So it's not worth coming after me for this and that, because if I went to go with it and say, well, how much has he made off it? Well, I made this much money because I made one. Do you see what I mean? So
technically, one day then, Chad, behind you, you might have all custom shells with all your stickers on. That's the dream. We'd like custom shells you can put your own stuff on, like Masters Universe, Masters Universe, that sort of stuff.
The only thing I've done in my room, if I take this off now and I'll show you. The only thing I've got in my room was we went to I found a really old broken TV stand. It was knackered, it was broken and all that sort of stuff. And I always wanted a pop culture TV stand. So what I did was I made that. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So if I move this out of the way, the whole floor, the whole top, if I just move this stuff out of the way, it's all stuff we had as kids, Mask, Labyrinth, do you know what I mean? James Bond, and it goes all the way. And then the floor is done in The Shining. So do you remember The Shining?
Yeah.
The carpet in The Shining is the whole floor, look.
Oh.
So the whole floor's done in The Shining, and then on the doors, you have that kind of thing on the doors. Oh, hang on. Are you still with me?
Yeah, still there. Don't worry.
Right, which is the doors is that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, the strips. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really good fun to do. So, and I enjoy it a lot. So, oh, hang on a minute, I pressed the wrong button here.
You're putting it face forward instead of backwards.
Got it. There I am.
No, it's some unbelievable, like, but works of art, that sort of stuff. It's unbelievable, Shabs, what you've done with it. It's, you know.
Yeah. We take on, I think it's because my love for pop culture has been since we were kids. I've always liked doing it. And so,
yeah.
And if someone gets in touch with us and I don't know what it is, I won't just make a piece of furniture. I'll make sure I've watched it first, I've researched it first, that kind of thing. Because I don't know who I'm putting on it, if you will. So,
yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
So technically, then you done all that. Your three passions are, you said, your Star Wars, your Playmobil, and your Masters Universe.
Yeah.
I know you also collect like Batmobile, 80s toys from your kids, like we've seen, like with your brother, like on opening the first box.
Mm-hmm.
I know some of the shops you've been around where your area has been absolutely amazing. I know the one shop you talked about where they put the tubs on, they just put tubs of toys outside for, like, you know, you picked up unbelievable stuff.
It's great for that. I mean, where I live is in North Carolina. There's not many pop culture enthusiasts, so I'll go and find brand new Teddy Ruxpins that look like they've not been used for practically nothing. But that's a place that me and G-Force found called Chromag Toys, and what they do is they've got loads and loads of vintage stuff in there. But every 6 months or so, they have a tub sale, and what it is it's like pieces of. It's not complete stuff. So in other words, I found a Fright Zone, the place at the Fright Zone, but it was only the three things, and so the gate's missing, the tree's missing, and that. But they sell it for practically nothing. But it's great though, because Scuba Pete found loads of stuff that he needs. You know what I mean? Little parts here and there, and they practically give it away. Or they'll have Masters of the Universe figures in there that intact, but like the seal's broken. Do you remember the little rubber ring that held the legs together? So they'll sell it for like $5, which is like £3.50 in England. So yeah, it's a really good store. If you ever come over to North Carolina, me and G-Force will take you to Chromag. You'll like it.
Maybe one day, because I actually want to go to Charlotte because it's got the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Oh,
and I want to see I want to do that. So Keith Knight said, do you have the 70s Batmobile?
No, I don't have a 70s. No, I don't have any Corgi except for this. The only Corgi I have is this one. Is Vintage Toy Rutter sent it over. It's the exclusive for your eyes only. They did a load of Bond cars, and my favourite Bond car was always the Burgundy RS Turbo from For Your Eyes Only. So what they do is they put a thing in it telling you all about it, all about the car and how it was used and so forth, and then that's the actual car itself, which is perfect. I mean, they seem to have lines on the ski slopes, and yeah, what a great gift that was. But that's the only Corgi thing I have. Corgi's very hard to get in America. Do you know what I mean? So
it's more or less Matchbox or Hot Wheels, that sort of stuff in America. Unless you go to specialty shops, then it goes ridiculously priced.
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
exactly. Right. You can go to, it's like when they do flea markets over here, and you'll get some guy vending. He's got loads of Hot Wheel cars. They said he'll have a couple of corgis, but they're very rare to get hold of, you know, and without going in the stores. And I don't think the stores carry corgi, to be honest. I don't think Walmart or Target carry it.
So technically, where you now live in like North Carolina or America, anything you actually miss here from like the UK or?
Yeah, I miss my foot. I know the lad's going to take the piss because I support Everton, but I miss the football. But I can watch the football here. But it's
isn't it soccer?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, technically, once again, Shabby, next year or a couple of years' time, the World Cup football's back in America.
Oh, yeah, I know. So that'll be fun.
You know,
but it's watching it 7:30 in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's that kind of thing that you know you have to get up at 7:30 just to watch Everton get beat again. It's not fun. And I miss the food. I miss meat, potato pies, and the chippy and that kind of thing. Great.
One of your big Friday night friends here.
Yeah. Oh, good old Howard says it. He did. I watched his his stream this morning. It wasn't a Spectrum stream. He's got a new setup as Artez, so he's doing all NES, SES, all that sort of stuff. So.
Oh, that's crazy. But anything else you miss like from the UK except for
the weather? It's always hot. Yeah, Christmas Day was 82 degrees. It's always hot, and I'm a big bloke. You know what I mean? Luckily, I've got the looks to compliment. No. So being a bigger bloke, you get hot and you get bothered, and the weather over here sometimes when it gets that hot in the summer, you just yeah. I don't know. I like cold. I like it raining, windy. But on the flip side of that, when Jen was at home, she hated English weather. She couldn't stand it because it was always cold, it was always raining, that kind of thing. So, yeah,
it's crazy. Anything your kids miss from the UK? Have they ever been across, or anything they miss?
Yeah, not really, because I mean, we had Jude over here, then we went home, and then I went home because America's expensive to have kids and everything else. It's pricey. So I thought to myself, well, I don't really want to keep forking out this amount of money through insurance, having more kids here. So we went home and had my kids, and then I was quite happy to be at home, but Jen was homesick really bad. So, but my oldest child was only 9 when we came back to America. So there's things that the remember, but they don't miss anything because they've been here most of the kid. Like my youngest son was 1 when we came. He wasn't, you know what I mean? He's only a baby, so he doesn't know any different. But it's so funny though, because my oldest kid was born in America and has an English accent. My youngest kid was born in England but has an American accent, and then 2 kids lose 2 in between. They're like roller coaster with it. You know, it's funny. Their accents are all over the place.
Oh, that's crazy. I know, like Cadbury's chocolate you can get in America, but it tastes completely different.
It does, and you can only get
even like, yeah.
So, in other words, you get your cream eggs or you get your mini eggs at Easter. You can't get it all at Christmas. You can't get it all year round. So,
yeah,
and it tastes different. Yeah,
it's crazy. But no, it's one of the things you like. Follow your family. You follow where you want to go to. Yeah. You know, a lot of us would love it to live in America because the amount of toys or the guys, Walmart's, Targets, pick up that sort of stuff, unbelievable. But like,
Dave,
the healthcare is.
I miss palatable stuff though, Dave, like Action Man, or like there's so many kids, and we were kids in England, and you're not going to find in the States. So I think it's best of both worlds. Really, it's like Scuba. Yeah. He's over in England now. He'll probably find English stuff that he's never seen over here. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? Like the Action Force or the Action Man, that kind of thing. So
yeah, it's the same with toy collecting. It's like Trendmasters. We got in regional days. We got Bluebird as a company. Remember Bluebird? That was just Trendmasters. Playmates was Bandai in the UK. The same toys. It's just because the toy companies didn't have the licenses. We had different companies, but the same toys. Slight difference, but it's crazy how, like you said, you miss the little nitty-gritty bits, but you don't miss the other stuff, if you know what I mean.
When I was a kid, I loved Britain's. Remember Britain's toys, the space guys with you put the gun round. I loved them, the yellow spaceships and all that sort of stuff. And I completely forgot about them. This wasn't something we avid. I had 3 brothers, so we had a ton of toys when we were kids. But this is not something that I remembered. But I remember going to a store over here and seeing one, and I couldn't believe it. And I was like, "What?" And I said to the guy, "Did you sell Britain's over here?" And he said, "I'm not sure whether he sold, but I got that through Europe and brought it over." But what a nostalgia that was, seeing that yellow spaceship with the green like circle cockpit on it. It was
Yeah.
fantastic to see. And I'm sure, you'll probably tell me because you're a much better expert than I am, did Britain's toys actually connect to each other as well?
I think some of them did, yeah. If I can remember rightly, yeah. Yeah.
So
It's one of the things, Shav, when it comes to like the 70s, 80s, and 90s toys, they've released that much worldwide, you cannot keep up with the whole toy. Yeah. It's unbelievable. And it's like you say, John was showing off his collection off earlier on the chat. And it's like people couldn't remember some of the toys and that sort of stuff. It's the same as like one of the things you asked, like, I can't remember, was it 2-3 years ago about your, was it now the jukebox?
Oh, yeah, I still got it up there, the Barbie juke. Oh, yeah. Man. But that's one of the nicest things about this community now. We all do it because I've always had a fascination for toys, always. You know, when I came to America, I barely knew anything about G.I. Joe. I couldn't remember whether it was sold in England or not. And then when people told me that Action Force turned into G.I. Joe, I was like, what, the France? I never knew that. So it's always not, or when you see DTM showing off The Simpsons, or you'll see somebody else showing off. So I'm fascinated by stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also, you can learn off so many people. So in other words, I'd found that it was in my Star Wars stuff for some reason, and it was an old yellow jukebox, and we tried for weeks. Everybody that came on, do you know what this is? Do you know? And nobody knew. Then you came on and sent me a picture. Yeah, it's the disco from the Barbie. We're like, what? So it's awesome doing stuff like that. You know, you put something up on social media and everybody knows what it is. You know, it's brilliant.
It's sometimes something like that is quite easy to work out, because when you said it was like 70s toys, it was only like Mego, Action Man, or Barbie was the big ones. Mego was too small, and everybody said Happy Days. It's like too small. But Action Man was the next big ones, like G.I. Joe. But then everyone forgot about the Barbie, which they did thousands and thousands, but not. So that's how I worked it out. And then I just put Jukebox Barbie in, and it came up virtually straight away for you.
I mean, I put Barbie in, I couldn't find it. I thought it might have been a pencil case too, because the way it was done, like, but it wasn't. It was a place of that disco Barbie that you sent, and you sent the picture over, and there it was. You know, it was weird that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's like little things like that. It's just you can mention it to one person, he's like stumped, and then mention it to somebody else, he's like, what? It's like, you know.
And that's what I've loved. I mean, I've learned so much off everybody, you know. And the other nicest thing as well is there's toys that you had one or two of as a kid, but then you see people with a collection of them, or then you see a certain vehicle or something that went with that. You know, my fascination, it's like I said, has been for G.I. Joe since I've been here. I just cannot believe the size of that line.
Yeah.
Or how big it was. I mean, so for me, I've got to admit, if we had G.I. Joe as accessible, like the Defiant and the USS Flag and the big headquarters and all, I think that would have been bigger to me than Star Wars was, because that was right down my alley. Vehicles, play sets with figures. You know, it was unbelievable. Line.
But it's only the two lines I can think of back then that did vehicles and figures for them lines, which was, you know, nowadays it's more or less Playmobil. They do the figures, like you say, at the play sets, everything for the in scale is Playmobil.
Yeah, but
you know, which is very.
Getting silly though, because now you're getting Hasbro making like the TVC ones they're making. You're getting a corridor for like a half a wall for $50, or half a stairs for $50, or an endo bunker. I mean, I got the endo bunker from the 90s, which is this one right here. I'll just show you. Our Jen got it for me, so I've never opened it. It's something that, because our Jen doesn't really buy me toys that much, but it was that one. So when you look at this, and then you look at the back of it, and the actual bunker goes all the way around. And then obviously you've got, you know, the trees, and you've got a catapult and everything else. And at the time, I think this was like 25 quid. Now, granted, it was 30 years ago, so I understand the prices have gone up. But, you know, for $50, I think they would have made an upgrade of that. You know, when you can do a bunker like that and accessories like that, why don't you make it like that for $50? But hey ho, you know.
But there you go. So, well, technically, Shabs, we're coming up to the last 10 minutes of the live stream and bits. I always give my shout outs and that sort of stuff, or mentions pre-week. It's tomorrow I'm back on again, because I'm doing like a 4-day special live streams. I'm back on at 10 o'clock tomorrow night with El Tende, which is a Punisher Masters Universe NECA collector and his amazing collection.
Yeah.
Tuesday I've got a UK toy collector. It's quite a big channel that's coming onto my channel on Tuesday.
Cool.
You've also on Tuesday, you've got Brian Action Figures, the Irish guys, doing their like we're doing a double crossover. On Wednesday, I start at 8 o'clock because that's my technically my third year on YouTube
Cool.
to the date. I've been doing it 3 years, and I've almost done like 1,500 videos in 3 years.
It's a lot more than me.
I do videos every single day. I still haven't missed a day since I started. And nowadays I'm doing 2 or 3 shorts a day or 3 videos per day.
I've got to commend you, man. And see, that's why I don't dislike videos. I don't negative about people's videos, because whether you like the person or not, whether you like the product or not, I don't dislike it because I know how much work it is. I couldn't make videos every day. Not a chance. Do you know what I mean? So,
it all depends what your lifestyle is, what you do, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I did a quick little room tour on my channel. I put it out there in the world, which scared me quite a bit because I hate showing stuff. I like people looking at people's collections more than anything else. But that's just me. And then Thursday, me and Dark Liking, which is that one. I'll be on his channel this Thursday coming. Me and Baz do a Thursday night chat for an hour and a half. Normally on a Friday, it's the ZSR or USR with the Shabs next to me with Tez Roland Reviews, and 0 Toys.
Yeah, I've heard of that show. It's awesome, that show. I've heard of it. It's not bad. It's all right.
Fortunately, through the grapevine, I don't think it's on this week because there's a thing in the UK this weekend, which no one's mentioned it at all. But
it's a lovely Tez's wife's birthday, so obviously Tez isn't going to be there, and celebrations on, and I think we've been doing it every week now for like 96, 97 weeks, and we're just going to take a break. USR is shared between all 3 of us. There's no big head, there's no ego. It's not my showing them 2, Tez is showing us 2, Matt showing. It's for all 3. And we always said, you've seen a couple of USRs where one of us hasn't made it, so we've called it something else. Shabby and Matt do this, Tez and Matt do that. And so we just said, we had a conversation last night. You said, you know what, the lads are at celebration. Let them go and enjoy themselves. Let's just take a week off. So we'll be back the week after.
Perfect. And then next Sunday, I should be back for another Toys Chat next Sunday. I don't know because it's Easter over here. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys celebrate Easter in America.
Yep, they do.
Sweet. And it's basically as well, next Tuesday, I'm doing a special NEC pre-chat Toy Fair live. If you're thinking of going to the NEC Toy Fair, which is next Tuesday. And I've got one of the owners from the show that's coming on for that one.
Good stuff.
Have you got any plugs you want to shout out to any of your friends that you can think of?
Well, everything what you said, watch the Irish lads, you know what I mean? I know Salacious is coming back and he's doing his Lego studs. That'll be good to watch. Your lads on a Thursday. I've got a couple of videos coming out. I've got the Playmobil Mansion I've got to finish off. Me and Lucy, we've got 2 massive boxes full of these. I'll show you. I've got about 2 or 3 massive boxes full of Masterverse. We haven't opened any of them, so we're gonna have to. I know we're gonna have to start making them. I've got Playmobil to do. I've got a few Motorology stuff. So yeah, we've got things coming up. But like I say, I can't really say a specific date. It's because I don't know when I'll get down to it. But I know there's a
with time working. Yes, with time working.
Yeah, and I like making my videos with my girls, and so obviously they're at school all day, and they've got and they come in, and if they're tired or whatever. But yeah, we'll get around to doing it. We'll have at least 1 or 2 videos this week. So
sometimes you rather wait and make the video special instead of rushing them and just putting out for content. You rather step back a second, do family first, YouTube second. It's understandable.
I always, this is going to sound so cringy. The lads, I know the lads in this chat, so they'll probably take me to the cleaners for saying this. But I always look at my video. I'm very proud of the videos I make, simply because I'm not nasty in them. I'm not negative in them. And I like to look back in 10 years and think I was proud of that. I don't care how big it gets. I don't care about the production value. And I don't care if my camera's shaky or my microphone. But I'm very proud of what I've done. And the nicest thing is getting your family involved as well. I can see all my girls. It's like I'll watch a video now of Lucy when she first started, and she's twice the size as she was when she first started. So, I'm very proud of what I've achieved. But again, when you see DTM, VTR, yourself, all the Reynolds, Tez doing his spectrums in his videos, Matt, it's very proud watching your other friends go as well. It's very proud looking at their videos and how they've progressed and how they've moved on. You know, you feel like a proud dad sometimes. You know, look at this, it's awesome. You know, if I've forgotten about it, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, they also like imperfections, or like your camera doesn't work sometimes. You know, it's crazy how your camera and your laptop's 2 different pictures and that sort of stuff. It is crazy.
I just find it to a point where you know, I think that's why we're so supportive of each other, because there's no one stands out more than another one. I can't say that anybody's video is better than anybody else's, because we all bring something to the table. We've all got our own way of doing it. We've all got our own toys to show. We've all got our own humor and all this. And it's just nice.
And everyone's got a different opinion about different toys, and they go.
You've got to be nice about your opinion. I mean, remember, we are the lads in our 40s and 50s collecting toys. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing to be pissed off about. So that's the way I look at it.
Entertainment on telly.
No, thank you, pal. Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like the imperfections with your camera when you was in your other house, like 2 miles down the road. Your internet was crackly sometimes, or it's one of the things it can't be helped, and it makes the video, or makes us all not perfect at what we're doing. You know,
that's why you were sorry it's grown the way it's grown, because there's not one ego. There's not one ego. No. I have 2 lads that I could not think of any 2 lads nicer to do a podcast with for the past 3 years. 3 years with Matt and Ted. And they're just such lovely lads that I'm so proud of what all 3 of us have built. You know, we went from having a couple of people to 10 to 20. Now, like I said, the ZSR on Friday was up to 70 people, and it's like, and then you look back and like 300, 400, 500 people have watched it. Now, that might not mean anything to big YouTubers. For people like me, Matt and Tez, that means the world to us. And halfway through, I don't know whether you watched it. We got a comment off this gentleman that said, "I've been watching you all 3 of you since 2021. You helped me out Friday to Friday and I just thought, wow, you forget about that. You forget about the people that don't comment, and you forget about the people, but they do watch you, you know." Yeah. And it was just a lovely thing for him to say. It really was.
Technically, Shabs, through the pandemic, the live streams, and everything else got us all toy people communicating through the pandemic, because and everyone through the whole of the community. Yeah.
Because this is brilliant. If this does not put a smile on your face, right, what is the point? It always makes me laugh. Someone will buy a figure and they'll get it and they'll go, "Oh, this is shit, and that shit, and that shit." So why'd you buy it? Why'd you buy it and make a video on it? You know what I mean? Just, you know, that's just me. That's just my opinion. I've always been a person who loves it. If I buy something and I don't like it, there's a way to say it, but there are people out there, for example, that love something you might hate. So I don't want to come on saying, "Oh, this is crap and this is crap." If someone's watching it going, "Well, I love that." You know what I mean? So if I don't like something, I'll say I'm not happy with it, but I'm not going to go all out, upset people. It's not me.
Yeah. But technically, something like that, Shabs, like telling your opinion to the companies, helps the companies grow as a company, or that sort of stuff. And without honest opinions about certain toys or certain products or certain ways of living, like it's like Everton and, you know, Stu in the chat, like Universal Toy Collector, like My Little Pony. He was, you know, for him, I would almost get the exclusive My Little Pony for the charity he did. Not because I want to collect it, just so you can support anything and everything and that sort of stuff. But there you go.
There's always going to be stuff that we don't like. There's always going to be stuff that, you know, that we're buying. It's not as good as what, but you can say that. "Oh, it's all right, but it's not what I." Like I just told you about that Mandalorian it being at $40. I wasn't happy with the fact that it was that price for what it was. But you know, I wouldn't. You know, I know there's people out there that do like this stuff that have no problem with it and all that. So I'm not going to turn around and say anything negative. It's not who I am. So I probably will in the background, but not in the video.
So just in case anyone was new watching this, Shabs, where can people actually find you on, like, can they find you? Is it Shabby Geek on YouTube?
Yeah, just Shabby Geek now on YouTube. It's pretty straightforward. Shabby Geek, and all we are, like I say, we're a small family that just make smallish videos, but we have a good time doing it. We have a laugh and a joke. I'll put sketches in it. I'll say funny things. We have music. I don't know. It's just, I love toys. I love this community. I love what we do, and I think it shows in our videos. So if you just want to have a bit of fun, get away from everything else, come and watch a Shabby video. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. So
The only thing I absolutely love when you do your 5 nights of shabby, 5 different things.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. You
Yeah,
also
well,
on Instagram if people want to get into contact with you.
Same thing. Just look for Shabby Geek. I think Shabby Geek 21 on Instagram, and on Twitter it's MS Shabby Geek. So yeah, you'll find me. If you every time you go to one of my videos, you'll see my Patreon there, you'll see my Instagram there, you'll see my Facebook there. It's all there in the description. So
technically, guys, if you can't think of it or can't find it, in the chat after, or basically in the description, there'll be Shabby's information. So, guys, if you haven't followed him or anything else in the future, please go and support Shab, because he's like supporting everyone else. You know, the guys on the Friday, unbelievable guys. You know, Tez and everyone else. You know, you've got also in the chat full of figures. Your brother Manga Fantango Sai.
Yeah.
You know, you got Universal Toy Collector, Claire, everyone else. You know, it's been crazy. And there you go.
And everybody else. I mean, it's like I said. I mean, I've seen some of the comments that's down here and so forth, and it's not a case of me inviting somebody. I like to meet people. I like to get to know someone. I like to get to know who they are and what, because it can be a lonely collecting thing that we do this. It can be, you know, you never know if someone's on their own or no one else wants to know about his collection. So to find people like us and the way we've all connected to each other, anyone is more than welcome in this, especially with me. So thank you, pal. Yeah.
When Lucy's on there, she's like, you can see her growing up over the videos. It's quite scary to see, but it's like you say, because I mean, looking at it back 20 years, it's unbelievable.
And that's the way I work it out. You know, when they all get married and have boyfriends, I can just put a YouTube video and say, yeah, that's, there you go, look at that.
At the wedding days, like, that's what it used to be. I was like, Dad, no. But there you go.
Yeah, awesome.
So, guys, don't forget, I will be back tomorrow night on 10 p.m. on this channel, starting around about now in 24 hours' time, with El Tende. If you want to learn about anything more about Punisher, NECA, and a different part of America. I will also be back on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. with a big special toy collector. He's quite big in the toy collecting world. And then my 3-year anniversary to YouTube will be on Wednesday. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also to Shabby Geek. Any other questions? Shabby's always like helping people out. If you guys, he's one of the top guys in the fandom.
Thanks, pal.
You know, he always like gives you shout outs. He's you know, the ZSR on a Friday, US Air, kept us going through the pandemic. So thank you for all of us, Shabs, for knowing what you do and what you're doing.
Hey, thank you a lot for watching, because I've said it 1,000 times. Without people watching, there is no ZSR. They are, Chris. I can't say ZSR. He goes mad. ZSR. There's no ZSR. So.
But no, thank you for all the 16, 20 people that joined us tonight.
Yeah,
don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Rewatch the chat. Reach out to Shabs. Guys, please stay safe. Keep well. Don't forget, tomorrow night, another special collector. Hope to see you then. Thanks again, everyone, for joining us. And, guys, hope everyone has a good Easter 2 weeks or break. Enjoy Star Wars Celebration. Please be safe. And enjoy yourself.